You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we're going to talk about the Colts. More specifically, a quarterback job that we thought was wrapped up. There was a reason why the Indianapolis Colts gave Daniel Jones $14 million. They thought he was going to walk in there and just take this job from Anthony Richardson, and this may be the surprise of all training camps. Don't look now. Anthony Richardson's looking pretty good in training camp. Now, here's the problem. We know how training camp people can look in training camp. But two things have happened. Anthony Richardson's been a little better than okay, and Daniel Jones has been a little bit worse than okay. Daniel Jones can't seem to put the job away, which is really freaking weird. Seriously? Right here, Anthony Richardson haters are shaking right now. No, I doubt they are. 3 straight phenomenal days for AR at camp. 3 TDs with the ones today. All right. Seriously. So, it's pretty wild. Let's look at this right here. This was, I believe this was from yesterday. This is going to be a rope to Michael Pittman Jr. Let me turn this down so I don't get a copyright. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, it's a nice little touch on the ball from Anthony Richardson. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I did not see that coming. By the way, he made some comments today. Is it just me? Or does it look like he's lost some real weight? He looks a little slimmed down.
Pressure throughout your career, whether on or off the field, but how has that relationship with pressure maybe evolved over time? Like, how do you view it now versus when you were first coming in? And do you feel any more of it knowing that you're going to your 3rd year and it isn't as solidified as perhaps you wanted it to be?
A lot of things in life, we always want, certain things, but, God always has something, different in us. He has a different vision for us. So I don't feel like there's any more added pressure. I've been dealing with adversity my whole life. Growing up, things weren't the best, and my mom, she did her best to, make it, great for us. So I just think back to that, and I remember what it was like back in those times. And my life is way better than what it was before, and I'm grateful for that. Not many people get the opportunity to be in the NFL, and God blessed me enough to have the chance to do that. This organization believed in me enough to draft me first round, top 5 pick. So I don't think there's any more pressure. It's just me working hard and proving them right, and letting them know that they chose the right guy, and just proving myself right, and just letting them know that my hard work will eventually pay off. And at the end of the day, God has it all written for me, and I'm just trying to do my part. So God's willing, if I do get this job, I can have my best foot forward and lead the team and be the leader that they need me to be.
Don't look now. He's been putting in some work, guys. He's been putting in some work. He is considerably thinner than he was. Remember last year during the drive? He had to literally tap his helmet to come out of the game. And there was word that he really lost the organization doing that. There were players that were pissed. There were coaches that were pissed. It looks like maybe, he looks considerably thinner. Like he's put in some real work. I would assume if he's got thinner, his cardiovasculars probably went up too. Right here, little roll out to the right. Oh, that's a tight throw. That's a good throw. Look out. I did not expect this. Anthony Richardson dominating the quarterback battle. QB competition seems to be getting clearer and clearer every practice. Anthony Richardson continues to stack great and accurate days. That is the part that is the most interesting. Accurate. Something he was not. All right. Now, is he going to be like Josh Allen? where Josh Allen by, year 3 was all of a sudden pretty accurate. If Anthony Richardson can even get up to say 63, 64% with his wheels, you might have something. You might have something, and they will sure as hell prove a lot of people wrong. Typically, I would start with this is who is this? This is The Athletic. I'm looking for the writer, James Boyd, covering the Colts. This is his training camp notes. Typically, I would start with the positive, but since the quarterback is the most important position in football, I chose to zero in on Indy's quarterback battle. Entering training camp, Jones owned a slight edge on Anthony Richardson in the Colts QB competition since Richardson missed most of the spring practice because of shoulder soreness. Look, that slight edge shit, it was going around all over the NFL that, they pretty much had penciled in Daniel Jones would win this job. Uh-oh. But early on in camp, Jones hasn't done anything to separate himself from Richardson. If anything, Jones seems to have lost ground with the QB battle about even. Jones is 23 of 41 passing with 1 touchdown, 1 interception in 11 on 11 drills, according to my unofficial scorekeeping. Richardson, meanwhile, is 19 of 43. That's still not good. That's still not good. With 2 touchdowns and 1 INT in 11 on 11. Both have thrown an interception in 7 on 7 as well. The only day one quarterback clearly outplayed the other was Friday when Richardson went 8 of 11 passing with a couple of first down throws and a handful of solid checkdowns. Yikes. The latter have typically hindered Richardson in the past. So that he connected on those passes is a positive sign. Daniel Jones, meanwhile, was 6 of 10 Friday with Indy's defensive backs were able to break up some passes. Both quarterbacks regressed considerably Saturday when the team focused on red zone work. Richardson was just 4 of 14, yikes, and 11 of 11 with 2 touchdowns. Jones was 5 of 14, good God. That's a bunch of bad playing the bad. Passing, including a touchdown of his own to Pierce and a drop touchdown by Michael Pittman Jr. So it sounds to me like what's really going on here, and then what I read to you before we got into that was the last couple of days since this. All right, so evidently Richardson's kind of raised himself since The Athletic was out there reporting on the initial findings. But the biggest takeaway here is the fact that Anthony Richardson's even still involved. For people to say, he threw 3 touchdowns today. And Daniel Jones, look, it would be just the Colts got to be careful here. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why they got to be careful. They got to mess around. They might mess around and have what happened to the Giants happen to them. Let's say Anthony Richardson has a Daniel Jones kind of year. And what I mean is the year that Daniel Jones took the Giants to the playoffs. All right. He had a year that most people, even I sat back and went, well, it was okay, but you're going to give him a huge contract? And the Colts are like, we got to go ahead and sign our franchise quarterback. So let's say he has a pretty good year-ish, and they give him an extension. And then, of course, Daniel Jones is now gone and with the Colts because he crashed and burned. So if you're the Colts, you got to be careful here. You got to be careful for what if Richardson wins the job and does pretty okay or pretty good, and you fall for it and you give him this big quarterback extension, you could be in a bind. And Shane Steichen will be without a job. By the way, he hasn't exactly shown up as this massive quarterback guru that he was supposed to be. But here was my takeaway, and I've said this before. Everybody said, he'll do what what he did with Jalen Hurts with Anthony Richardson. And my issue was simple. Do you know how much more college football Jalen Hurts played than Anthony Richardson? Basically 3 times the amount of college games. May have been more than that. He had a ton of starts. Remember Alabama and Oklahoma? Basically 3 full seasons. Richardson had 1 full season, like 13 or 14 games. I mean, Jalen had, I know he was well up over 30. I think he was over 40, to be honest with you. That's a lot of difference. And you're noticing so many of these quarterbacks that are performing in the league have come out of college. They've got, I mean, we're talking 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 starts. That's a lot of reps. That's a lot of needed reps. It's the one thing that worries me about J.J. McCarthy is he didn't have a lot of reps. Had several years, but didn't have a lot of reps because of that scheme that he played with for Harbaugh, but Kevin O'Connell will figure that out. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Before we jump in, make sure you go to our merch store, our Make Basketball Great Again shirt, and our newest shirt that just came out. Both shirts are brand new. The American Flag Skull Fever Enforcer shirt. And use promo code CC22 for 20% off.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.